you can get caught up in like these emotions of the present and this and that. But like really and truly, when we're doing stuff 50, 60 years from now, they ain't gonna care about the culture like that. What was the nuances and the micro of the culture, what was happening at that time. They're gonna go, what are the messages that you are channeling? What are the ideas? What is they're gonna take it in as that?
So let's talk about Fred Hampton. I mean, how do you prepare for that role? Especially when the family are alive and you then spend time with them and really wanting to do that story justice. And as you alluded to earlier, having obviously knowing the significance, but not knowing the added significance that there would be with it actually now coming out now with everything that we've been through over the past year.
So what are we talking about, June? How was the process, you're saying?
Well, what did you do mentally to prepare for such an important role, knowing that this isn't something that you can craft per se in your own head? This is somebody who lived. This is somebody that means so much to so many. Surely the weight of that in itself.
Yeah, it was weighty. It was weighty. But that's what I'm saying. It's about those experiences with Get Out, those experiences with Black Panther threat me to own it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the thing. I got to own it. It's on me, this process. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make it what makes me feel good. Because I'm in this, I'm a vessel for him in that sense. So
did you know much about his story before, or did you learn it from coming to the role?
I knew. I remember I was at a place and I saw the date that he was born and the date that he was assassinated, and going, that don't make sense. And I remember going, wait, hold on, that's a typo. I was literally going, that's a typo. Yeah. Like he was 21. Yeah. And then I Googled it. I was like, he's not 21. And I said, oh wow, he's 21. Not only that he assassinated a 21-year-old, but like he made it to chairman by 21. I was like, who is this guy? And I remember that day I was reading up on him, and this is that and the other. I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's amazing. It's not like, who is this guy? I'd heard about him, but I didn't know he was that age. Yeah. And so I was just like, wow, this is incredible. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a deep dive into it one day. And so that's all I knew coming to it. I knew he meant something real, and I knew I was intrigued, you know what I'm saying, of the stuff that I read at that time. And I understood his gravity and I understood his standing. And I kind of just led with that. And
you got to know Fred Hampton Jr., didn't you?
Yeah.
What was that for him? Because obviously he never got to really know his father, because his father was killed in such a tragic way when he was so young. So in a way, was that for him reliving that through the experience of this film being made? Did you think perhaps?
No, it's weird because he wasn't reliving, because he didn't arrive. I mean, he Chairman Fred was assassinated 2 weeks before he was born. Oh my God. And so, but I did remember there was one moment when we did a screen test. So it's like basically like they're trying to see if the looks are right and then the thing. So I go into the studio. It's the first time I dressed as chairman. I go into the studio. The first person I see is Fred Hampton Jr. And Zen, and it was that kind of like we was the same height, and he hugged me so deeply, and it was just you just realize like, man, this guy lost his dad, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they killed his dad, yeah. And like, and that you just understand like, man, these people going through it. You know what I'm saying? Really going through it, and just gaslit throughout it. You know what I'm saying? As kind of like, oh no, he didn't do this, we didn't do that. It's just like, so it was, but it was great to get for him to be on set, and Mama Akua, and she's in a film, Deborah Johnson, but she goes Akua and Njiri. But it was just great to be close to them and to just have them on side. And just that they would just always steer us in the right direction whenever we was going a bit off. They would just make sure we were going in the right direction. And then we still talk to now. We still talk.
Amazing. And obviously when you were making it, we didn't know what would be coming a year later with the killing of George Floyd, and obviously the real explosion. Obviously Black Lives Matter has been going for a long time, but the explosion in terms of the world really taking note. Do you think that in a way, without getting esoteric as we've been getting at the beginning of our chat, but do you think that in a way Fred's spirit has made it so that the film is out now? Because I think the conversation that's going to be had about it now is very different to if this film had come out 2 years ago.
It is on a deeper one, June.
Let's go there, babe. Let's go there.
And I don't think like that's what I'm trying to say. Where this isn't me, bro. This isn't like me doing this. You understand? I don't mean this in a religious way. I mean it's just in a real way. It's God, bro. Yeah. Like you're saying it because it's just like things happen. You're like, wow, like it was coming out in August. You know what I'm saying? And like the world went through this mad moment, and you're sitting there. And I remember looking at the protests and the response to the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and you're like, wow, like. And then he's calling Shaka the director and the cast, and then you're like, wow, like we've actually just made a film that articulates what everyone is feeling. Yeah, literally just finished it at the end of 2019, and so you're just letting it like you kind of go, wow, this is just like that's what I say. It's like it reaching the masses, it connecting. It's nothing to really do with you in that sense. You're trying to do it, and then the time figures it out. It's like Get Out. We shot that. Obama was in. It came out. Trump was in. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a different climate. You know what I mean? It's like you're in a different space, and it's more than, and it's not like the whole world is configuring around so that a film could like resonate more deeply. That's not how life works. But what I'm saying is that kind of I just feel that if you're just telling the truth and you're brave enough and courageous enough to go, this is what I feel is the truth. Then it will be received. But also as well, that's just fortunate. It could be like, I don't know, like years later, like someone like American Psycho. Yeah. From what I heard, that it wasn't really, I wasn't really up them times when it was out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was living my life playing outside, playing 40-40 or something. Yeah. But it's like,
you were Daniel.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But I heard that it wasn't really received that well at the time. You know what I'm saying? And look at the life it had. Look at the life it has because of what's happening. You know what I mean? It's just because it told the truth and it was unapologetic about that. So it's like it's incredible, and it's a blessing that the time shifts for the stuff that I've been doing.
Yeah.
But I have to own that I'm still going to tell the truth, and if it doesn't shift, I'm still telling the truth. You feel me?
I love it. I have one more before we go to the Q&A. I think the thing that I love most about your career and your career to date, because there are many more years to come, but is the discernment of your choices, even at the beginning of your career. Because, like I said, those of us in the UK, we've seen you rise and seen the wonderful explosion of your career. But the discernment of your choices, and we know our industry has a long way to go in terms of inclusion, in terms of the types of roles that are offered to Black people, and particularly Black men in terms of how men of color are characterized. And for you to have had this level of discernment from the beginning, where you wouldn't have had, now is different because everybody's calling you, offering you roles, but at the beginning where you didn't have many choices and many options, and still to choose so wisely, where did that discipline come from, and how can you give other talent and actors and many who will be on this line watching this interview the confidence to do the same, because that's not easy.
No, it's not like, honestly, when your money's struggling, that it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's difficult. And I always say this, integrity is expensive.
It's expensive.
Very expensive. It ain't cheap. Yeah. And I don't look at anyone that's taking this and taking that. Like if they want to feed their family and trying to have a better life, who am I to say it? Do you know what I'm saying? But I feel like I remember I did work experience in year 10. I was at Barclays Bank, doing work experience in Camden Town, And I was just like, bro, like, I was looking forward to Friday. I was just like, I can't do this, man. I can't live like this. Wow. That was just deep in my soul. I was like, I cannot, like, I was getting down.
Yeah.
Like, I was 15. I was getting down. I'm like, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? So where I was like going into this and I think I'm just, if I do something I don't like, I'm just toxic. Like it's not like I'm a good energy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like, and so it's that. And so for me, it was just like, I don't want to present myself in that space, but also it's like, I don't think inherently, like, the money's nice, but I don't do this for money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I always just say to myself, I'm from the real world. If I wanted money, I'd work in finance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll put if my life was about money.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know then what it was about, but I just knew that, like, nah. And then there's certain roles you're just like, it's weird because there's back in the day, it's not like, it was just, I wouldn't get the roles that I didn't like. Like I would subconsciously throw them in an audition. Like I would not be all of myself because I just didn't mess with it. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't mess with it. And so I felt like it was, and also I feel like I was exposed to a lot of incredible things very early on in my career. And so being in that Skins writers room and sitting down with Jack Thorne, sitting down with Ben Schiffer, sitting down with Brian Elsley, Lucy Kirkwood's there, Camilla Blackett's all there. They're all there. Like, I'm 17 and they're breaking down story and they're breaking that thing. And then the first thing I did was shoot The Messenger. You know what I mean? And then that really resonated with the Black community in London. Yeah. And then Skins comes out. And then I'm like, wow. So then obviously your just standard is like, well, then it's got to do that. Right. It's got to speak to people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like a lot of times you see people is how they arrived in the industry. They just perpetuate that unless they get themselves out of an unconscious loop. Yeah. So I just go, all right, cool. It's just that. So then I would gravitate towards more provocative conversation starting things, like, because it just spoke to me. Yeah. And then I did all this. I did all the jobs, but I knew why I was doing it. I was doing it because I wanted to learn, and I just loved it. I loved doing it. I loved being on set. And I love telling stories. And then when I did Sucker Punch and I did Black Mirror, I was like, Sucker Punch is a play. And I did Black Mirror. I was like, oh, this means something to me. So I got to a different space where I'm like, oh, this means something to me. But Black Mirror, I'm 22. Yeah. And then that's when I was really faced with, like, yeah, the way the industry was, there weren't no inclusion and this, them times. There were a lot of moments where they're like, I would get the role and then they would call and say, yeah, no Black leads. And then I wouldn't get the role. Wow. Do you know what I'm saying? So then I knew it was a game. So then I realized I had to, like, protect myself and take care of myself in that game. So I was just like, well, then you can't see me like that. Then. Like, because I knew showing up to audition, I'm complicit to the racism. Yeah. Do you understand? Like, just showing up. Yeah. So I had to look at myself like, Daniel, what are you saying about it? Like, if you don't like these people, but then I have strong feelings. Do you know what I'm saying? If something doesn't work, if I don't like something, like, the idea of just doing stuff, it just doesn't really fill me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like, the reality is, June, like, you can get caught up in, like, these emotions of the present and this and that. But, like, really and truly, when we're doing stuff 50, 60 years from now, they ain't going to care about the culture like that. What was the nuances and the micro of the culture, what was happening at that time. They're going to go, what are the messages that you are channeling? What are the ideas? What is they're going to take it in as that? Yeah. So when I started seeing like that, seeing it from a bigger picture, I started going, right, cool. And this may be quite dark. I used to see it like, boom, when you die, it's going to be like Daniel Kaluuya, open bracket, one job, comma, another job, and then if you're lucky, and another job, close brackets. And that's the game. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's not being like, it's just that thing where, like, well, what am I leaving here? Yes. Is that what am I leaving here? And if I'm not enjoying something, I appreciate the opportunities, but if I'm not enjoying something, I don't feel like I have to do it or fill it. And I'm just comfortable in silence. I'm comfortable in not working. Like, I will stick it out. I will just stick it out. I'll just stick it out and say, if I don't work for 5 years because the right role, I will just stick it out because I'm stubborn. Yeah. And I go, no, I'm not doing it because what's the point?
And comfortable in the not knowing. That's the other thing. A lot of people want certainty. So being comfortable with uncertainty.
But I think being the unknown and the uncertainty, like, is the certain bit for me. Okay. Like, I see it as that that's when you know you're hitting something, because you don't know.
You don't know.
Like, that's what I'm trying to say about people in the creative arts don't handle their careers creatively. If you know what's going to happen, it's not as interesting. No. So if I'm sitting there like, June, I don't know what I'm working on this year or next year. I have no idea. I'm sitting you looking at your eye, I have no idea. And I'm cool with that. Like, that's exciting to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and if it speaks to me in that moment, and my job actually is to read in between that time. It's to study and, like, study script, study stories, study structure, study, like, and build projects that I like, and this is that and the other. And read up, because I see this as the off season, and read up and grow myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I got the time, all you're doing on a job is summarizing what you've learned.
Yeah.
You're going boom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and then you got to go again and then grow again.
I love it. I love it, Daniel. I love it.